Hey guys, still here and welcome to the final of this Wargame tournament. This is the tactical tournament and it's the final match. We are looking at Freepoint, commanded by Krot, versus ItsRazzPutin, I swear, commanded by Razman himself. Now Razman probably has covered / will cover this match on his channel. Link down below in the description to his channel, so you can see how he played the match, what his considerations were, and if he doesn't cover it, then you can always learn something about Wargame from him. Today we are looking at the final. The rules are the same as for the previous matches. 3,000 starting points for the entirety of the team, no income, no United States, no coalitions, and no USSR. This is to make sure that the guys take some different decks. It's not the same as you can always find. It's not the same coalitions. It's there to spruce it up a little. The map was chosen by Freepoint. It's Krot's team. They got the choice and they decided on Wonsen Harbor. Now they have played this map before, and back then I believe they won it. I mean, they had to, otherwise they wouldn't be in the final at this point. There is going to be quite a bit of flanking going on, as we have Enetic going over with a couple of Lynx AH7s. He has 5 of these, so we can expect SAS, maybe SBS as well. And they're probably going to do a flanking run around here. At which point, they will probably come across Putin's Z9 Alpha. Now, Putin is going to be using the Chinese. If I'm not mistaken, we have balanced with the Finnish. And to top it off, we have Razman with the Yugoslavian forces. It's always a meat grinder. One way or another, it turns into a big infantry clash in Charlie and Foxtrot. Okay, well, not always. I have seen matches on Wonsen Harbor played out where people just decided to go with a DAP from Gulf and just immediately butcher the command in Alpha and or Bravo, or however the zones were divided back then, because at some point they did get a redivision. The plans that we see here is that Putin wants to defend here, here, and here. Balance is saying we need to attack there. Krot's going to place his CV in Fox, so if they manage to get this far, they will encounter the command vehicle. Enetic's going to place a command vehicle over there. And we have Balance, who's going to make an attack on this side, through the forest, so it looks like they want to try and get into Echo. Now, the water is not that important. It is, of course, an area where you can send helicopters over, but these guys are way too good at the game to allow that to happen. What they'll do is make sure that that water is either covered with reconnaissance and or with anti-air units. There will be no way to do a helicopter rush or anything like that, not only because it's also outlawed in the tournament. Helo rushes are very much frowned upon. I don't want to see that in the tournament. And so far, I haven't. And considering that this is the final, I'd say that's a really good sign. So, let's have a look at the forces that we see over here. Balance is going in pretty heavy with a lot of XA-180s and 185s. Also seeing some HQ-7s from Putin and even an Ito-90 from Balanced himself. So it looks like they're also escorting this group. So they are predicting that there will be some sort of aerial threat somewhere in this region, or if they're going towards Charlie, somewhere in the Charlie region. Blue Fort doesn't really have any great bombers available. They have the RBS-90, which means that Pakuda is playing with the Swedes. We already saw that, what was it, Enetic, who's playing with the British forces, and the Swedes are also here. The Swedes and the Germans, there. Krot with the Fuchs. Noteworthy, no Israeli forces. No Israeli forces. I've had a fair share of comments saying, hey, you should ban Israel. Well, in this case, I don't need to, because they just didn't pick it. We already have 14 minutes of prep time. The replay is only going to run 27 minutes, so in the next 13 minutes is going to be decided who gets the reward for the winning of this tournament, which is $50 Steam or $50 Steam voucher per winning member of the team. This is going to be Krot, Enetic, and Pakuda, or Balanced, Razman, and Putin who are going to take home the prize money. Now we got the Z9 Alphas moving out, the Hera 2, and yep, as you can see here, the Hera 2 from Razman's immediately scouting out the water, making sure that nothing gets by them. But the Blue 4 infantry units are ready. Pakuda has RBS 90s out on the waterfront, and these helicopters are getting a warm welcome. They're also immediately spotted by the HKP-6 Alpha, and it looks like the Hera over here is more of a picket line. What else do we have going on? L-17K from Razmann doing a bit of aerial reconnaissance. No helicopters spotted here yet, but then again, the Lynxes will need their time to get over there. Blue 4 has a Sea Harrier FRS-1, also very good air detection. Also not a very expensive jet. And this is what you see quite a lot in this tournament. People don't use the most expensive jets simply because they don't really have to. Now, artillery strike coming in from the Rock 91. And on Blue 4's side, it's the Bacan 1C. If there's Swedes, you can bet your ass that one of these things are going to be used. Immediately lobbing shells at the most likely location, and that slows down Razmann's forces. This BVP M88 got pretty lucky. Could have been a direct hit, but they made it through. Razmann's other forces have made it through unharmed, and the Bredzka Pes are taking a position in the harbor. In the meanwhile, Putin's Li Ren are taking the frontline position, and they will probably be able to spot the vehicles as they come over this bridge, but they're not taking the road into town, they're taking the road into the harbor. Over here we have Enetic's Fox FV-4 721. I think it might have already spotted this helicopter. Yep, opening up with the Rarden, and this one does not really seem to have a good line of sight. It knows that it's getting shot at, but it's just guesstimating the position from where it's getting shot at. Pretty accurate. It didn't quite damage the Fox, but it did stun it. And now it's up to the Sea Harrier to try and deal with it. And the Sea Harrier is then immediately countered by the Eric Special Forces team, which have fired one Igla at it, damaging it a little bit. But the crippling blow is going to come from the Ito 90. So they were able to quickly get rid of the aerial unit that Blue 4 had. But the real fight is going to go down in the middle. 40 Fallschirmjäger, 80 Fallschirmjäger, 120 Fallschirmjäger are aiming to take the town. They will encounter the Proletari, the Li Ren, and the Zeeshan 90. They have a tough fight ahead, and they're currently working over some Erics, which can definitely bite back against infantry units, but this many Fallschirmjäger is pretty hard to get around. It's pretty hard to get rid of quickly. Now they are trying to support. XA-185s are trying to make sure that the Fallschirmjäger gets suppressed. But in the meanwhile, they also get an opportunity to pick off some transports. And whether these were rushed in to serve as a distraction, I don't know. Maybe. At any rate, the vehicles from Blue 4 are gone. We also have a couple of Royal Marines from Enetic coming in, and they're about to engage balanced Yekeri 90, Ranico Yekeri 90. They have taken quite a bit of damage, and it looks like, yeah, one squad's already panicked. So far, I'm not sure which way this fight's gonna go, because these Royal Marines aren't looking too happy. And there are quite a lot of infantry forces still left here. In the town, the Fallschirmjäger 90, this stack is still full. These guys have taken some damage, and these guys were, I believe, the ones who were fighting over here. And they were being pulled back to make sure they get some reinforcements. In the meanwhile, the SAS have been deployed from Enetic, and what I didn't cover, but what did happen, is that a Z9 Alpha, it tried to counter, but got shot down by the SAS. So the Li Ren that were supposed to come out of this helicopter died. And we have two helicopters which escaped after having deployed their infantry. The other one is going back to base, because those snap rockets can still be very useful. Now the main skirmish is still happening in town, but the harbor is not to be overlooked. We got Norlandsjäger moving forward, encountering the Bredzka and being pulled back, because these guys have a far better position. PBV 302A might be able to help out, but line of sight against this particular building is not great. So currently it cannot do that much. Once again, the Fallschirmjäger desperately trying to stay in this harbor, and it looks like they got hit pretty bad. 2 of the 4 units have died. So that means that these guys are now being pulled back. And the already wounded Fallschirmjäger over here are just jumping from building to building, trying to get the jump on any of the guys. The Rak 91, currently not... Oh, there we go, it is ready. And there's also a Ploman S being brought in. They're trying to get stun damage on these things, I think. I think that's the plan. Just trying to stun lock them into place. And then, by them being weakened, the blue 4 guys cannot move and the red 4 guys can pounce on them. Lots of vehicles moving forward. All the OT M60Ps. Just armed with machine guns, but nevertheless not to be overlooked. Fallschirmjäger should have an easy time getting rid of them. But it will distract the Fallschirmjäger for a bit. And no, they're not using the artillery units just yet. Now over here we had SAS in contact with the Eriks. The Eriks absolutely won that fight. The other 2 SAS units are still moving, and we have 2 Lynxes on the way. If these make it through and circle around, then they can kill the command unit in Bravo, which would be really bad news for Red 4. But Red 4 still has the ITO 90 and the HQ 7. And they are eager to get a kill. That's one. The other Lynx, seemingly not quite in missile range, or missile range was being obstructed by the tree line here. So the Lynx is making it through. Balanced, immediately putting up an attack marker as the Lynx rushes forward. I wonder if it can see it yet. It can't. These things are not known for their optics. They do, however, have optics, or they have line of sight on the incoming vehicles here. And they decide to take out one of the transports, but looks like these were mostly empty transports. But the autoloaders and the, what was it? The Bushmasters 25mm and 30mm cannons were not empty. And the Lynx gets killed off by the transports. Not really sure if they found the CV, but I don't believe so. Nevertheless, Putin happens to move it, just for safety's sake. Back over to the harbor, where the Norlandsjäger are engaging. And it looks like the Brechka did get the receiving end of one of the Bakan salvos. There's also 2 Lars 2s, which are trying to support and make sure that the enemy infantry don't get the drop on Blue 4 units. Still quite a few Fallschirmjäger left. The Royal Marines have been fully healed up, and they're ready to go back in. They are going to be facing more Jekeri and more Ranico Jekeri, but these guys have taken quite a beating and might be pushed out by Blue 4. It looks like Krotz here is going full into town, at the serious expense of Fallschirmjäger. I think he's going to lose at least 1 unit, potentially more. Proletariat over here, and Zeeshan being on the receiving end of what was probably the Lars 2 salvo. This Fallschirmjäger group is down to 8 guys out of the original 40, and these guys are down to 7. Oh, just 1 group now. They won't win that. There's too many guys to kill. Even if these help out, I don't see it happening. The Proletariat over here might get killed, though. At the same time, the Royal Marines are pushing up. They too have taken losses, but not as bad as the Jekeri. Ranico Jekeri are dead, leaving just the Jekeri over here. SAS seem to have pushed on quite a bit, but unfortunately the anti-air units have moved as well. They were no longer in the position where they were once they shot down the Lynxes. So the AT-4s are going to have to be kept in reserve for a bit. And it looks like Balanced is ready for a fight if those SES happen to come out of this tree line. Which I don't think they will. Royal Marines won the fight over here in Echo. There is, however, still an Eric's group unaccounted for. And if Blue 4 knows that, then they might be able to hunt it down. There we go. The AT-4 fires and kills off a transport. The Fallschirmjäger, not too many left. 13 guys out of the original 120. Not that Red 4 has a lot of staying power. Couple of Liren, couple of Proletari, that's it. But at this point, with the reinforcements of the Ranico Jekeri, I don't think that they could win it. More artillery being dropped onto the town over here. Zeeshan 90 looked to be on the receiving end of it. The Proletariat being pulled back by Razman. And at the same time, Pakuda was able to secure this position, but is now being threatened by the Zeeshan from Putin. So he has to make a choice. Do I stay or do I go? It looks like he's thinking that he might be able to get away with it. It's going to be close. 13 Legion, 60 Norlandjäger. And to make matters worse for Bluefor, there is more inbound. Now Bluefor is still moving with the SAS. And it seems like Balanced is trying to counter them. But the SAS, running at 30 kilometers an hour, are far faster than the Jekeri, moving at 20. So it's unlikely that the Jekeri will be able to catch the SAS, unless they get back to their vehicles. Now the Norlandsjäger over here, not winning it from the Legion. But maybe the artillery strike can kill both the Norlandsjäger, so blue on blue, but at the same time also get rid of the Legion 90. That would be potentially an interesting trade. Especially if Bluefor knows that they still have more infantry. Score-wise, it is slowly ticking in Blue's direction. Because Blue has taken up command, or sorry, has neutralized command of Delta. They have their own command vehicle over here, which is countering the command infantry from Red. And that means Bluefor is getting points. More Fallschirmjäger pushing forward. And they're about to just clean out the remainder of the forces in this sector. There is an attempt here from Balanced to use the XM-185s to try and get rid of the Fallschirmjäger. Even a J7H comes in. 1,000 kilogram bomb. Hold on, I didn't think it dropped. I mean, the jet crashed, but the payload didn't come down. Interesting. Another salvo. You can see that both sides are using a lot of MLRS, as well, of course, as the Bekan 1C, to try and get rid of the enemy infantry. But these guys keep moving around, so it's difficult to predict exactly where they're going to be and where your artillery needs to land. Now at this point, the Jekeri have found the other group of SCS, and they're pushing them out of the forest. At the same time, the other group of the SCS is moving towards Bravo, but it's going to take them a while to get there. Not that Bluefor is any rush, because at this point they still have 19 minutes left. It looks like Redford doesn't really have that much more incoming. Yeah, there's another group of 551s, so probably Legion 90. There's just so many infantry guys from Bluefor in this town over here. They're trying to get resupplied. Stalwarts, Scanias, more Scanias coming in. But these guys are panicked after having been on the... well, let's say under the shower of the Rock 91. As well as the Plowman, probably. Also, the skirmish is going on here. Yep, Erics are pushing through, trying to get to the HQ section. They might not know exactly where it is, but they probably have a pretty decent idea. And the Royal Marines are blocking them. Forcing the Erics back and making sure that both of these in command sections are safe. There we go, they're just being chased down, chased out of the town. This is quite literally running somebody out of town. I mean, most of the time I think that doesn't happen with the use of a mini-me, but in this case it worked out rather well. Norlandsjäger have found the prize. The command infantry is on the run. I think they're going to just ignore the Erics in favor of killing off the command infantry. And that puts Blue at a +2. And that is pretty much it for Red 4. Because at this point they have lost command units, they have lost a lot of infantry, and presumably they have also spent too many points to be able to come back from this. Because at this point, Razman puts up, thanks for the tournament, Stealth. It was a good run. And it was. Because Razman's team, ItsRazzPutin, I swear, they were able to get all the way to the finals. And once there, they met Krot's team, and there were just too many Fallschirmjäger to go through. If only it wasn't this map, says Balanced, yeah. Well, that was Bluefor's pick. That was the way that we had it set up. Bluefor picks the map, and Bluefor picked Wonsan Harbor. And they just pushed through really hard. Not the first time that we've seen these guys do this. Using artillery in the form of both MLRS and the Bekan 1C. Hammering infantry positions, pushing up with Fallschirmjäger, and at this point also Royal Marines. And it just worked out really, really well. So, that concludes the final. In only 13 minutes and 32 seconds, Freepoint wins the tournament. So congratulations to Freepoint, and well played to Razman's team, because these guys made it all the way to the finals. They got kicked out of the main bracket at some point. They fought their way back into the main tournament, and at that point they encountered Freepoint and lost to them. So Freepoint, congratulations. Everybody else, I hope you guys enjoyed the tournament, either playing it or watching it. I'm not planning on doing another tournament anytime soon, but maybe at some later date I'll do another one. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. I really recommend also checking out Razman's channel. You can learn a lot from this guy as far as Wargame is concerned. I can teach you a bit, but Razman can teach you a lot more. So be sure to check out his channel. Anyway, that's it. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you soon for another video.